this is Katie Gilmore, the Hot Mess Work at Home Mom with HotMessWAHM.com. Today, I want to talk about scaled systems. I had heard about scaled systems through a couple of people that I follow, and I really kind of wanted to make my own system, and it has helped me out great. I'm hoping it can help you out as well, as long as I can break it down and explain it pretty well. Basically, what I did is I went through and I thought of everything that I do in my business on a weekly and monthly basis. Every task that I complete, the only tasks that I did not include were things that I do daily, like invoicing people or answering texts, emails, and messages, and that sort of thing. I left those off just for the sake of keeping this nice and clean and not taking up a bunch of space. So every other task that I do for my business, I wrote it down. And then I like to complete all business tasks between Monday and Thursday. And that way it leaves the weekends for parties or meeting up with people or whatever I need to do with my weekends. So I broke these tasks down to 4 days. Monday is customer day, so anything I do for my customers would be done on Monday. Tuesday is team and training day, so getting in touch with my team, anything that I need to do as far as scheduling meetups, that sort of thing is all done on Tuesday, as well as reading or watching training material. Wednesday is hostess and recruit day. So anybody who I've been talking to about joining my team, I get in touch with them on Wednesday or kind of follow up with them on Wednesday. And hostess coaching, all that sort of thing gets done on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, it's business day. So things like making sure all my mail is ready to be sent out on Friday, making sure my deposit is ready, planning out my business budget, making an inventory of what I need for my business, anything like that is done on Thursday. So I took that giant list of tasks and broke it down into those days. And then after I broke it down even further, I've got these lists. This list up here is tasks that I need to do every week for my business. And these lists down here is things that would be done once a month. So week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4 of the month. I break every month down into 4 weeks. If there's an extra week, I use that week for catch up or completing tasks that were on my to-do list for the week that kind of got pushed down. So what I've learned from hearing different people speak about scaled systems is there's basically 1,000,001 tasks that are all going to differ. You might do things very differently. You might only do online parties. You might only do home parties. You might not do events. You might do events. And so it's really important to kind of figure this out on your own as far as your tasks. I am going to let you know what I do for tasks each week, just because I think when I started, I kind of combined a bunch of different people's lists. So I think that this could really help. So Monday is my customer day, and every Monday I make a list of 50 people that I want to contact, and these are past customers. These are people who I've been meaning to talk to about my business, and I put it in a list. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I use for that, and I just list down their name with their information. And that way, over the course of the week, I will get in touch with these people and let them know about any specials we're having, anything that pertains to them in my business. So I take any orders that I got in the previous week and I add them to my customer master list. I send out thank you cards to anybody who ordered off of my PWS or who placed an order off of somebody's party. On Monday, I go live in my customer group, so I make sure that I have notes ready for what I want to say and do in my customer live. I track, this is probably more of a business thing, but I just always do it on Monday, but I track my PRV, GWV, and group number on my calendar, so I make sure I do that on Monday. And I make sure that my posts for my customer Facebook page are all ready for the week. I check in with my 1 week, 1 month, and 3 month follow-up. So then on week 1, so these are tasks that only need to be done once a week. or once a month rather. I add any new customers that wanted to be added to my Facebook page. I send a text message out to all of my customers, and I make sure that I have 10 catalog mailers ready for the month. It just makes it easier if I have those ready. I could just take them out, write a note in them, and address them. Week 2, I do my 6-month follow-up, and I remove anybody who I can't get in touch with or who has expressed that they're not interested in, hosting a party or whatever. And so I remove them completely, and anybody else, I follow up with and let them know that there's the new catalog out and da-da-da-da. I check and mail any Google form samples. So what that means is I have a Google form, and if people want samples, they fill that Google form out. So I check that every month and mail those out. Week 3, I do follow-up catch-up. So as I said, I do 50 follow-ups a week just on random customers, that sort of thing. Plus I do 1 week follow-up, 1 month follow-up, 3 month follow-up, and 6 month follow-up. So inevitably I get behind on that. And so week 3 is catch up on that follow-up. And then on week 4, I make sure my Scent of the Month mailers are ready and all addressed. Then on Tuesday, it's my team and training day. I schedule any one-on-one coaching calls or meetings that, if I have a team member who has a lot of questions or somebody who's newly joined our team. Plus I check up with people on a regular basis and just kind of see where their business is at, or anybody who has just said that they, need a little extra help from me. I schedule any of those meetings. I watch a training video. YouTube has a bunch of training videos, Zoom meetings, anything that I've missed as far as calls, that sort of thing. I usually read every day as far as personal development, direct sales development, networking, all that kind of stuff. I usually do that. I usually read 1 chapter every morning. So I don't include that in my training day. Now on Tuesday, I do team live. So I make sure I have notes ready for that. Anybody who's promoting, any news that's in the news tab that we should make sure we know about, any upcoming trips, just anything that's kind of going on. And I usually try to have something in there that's kind of, kind of boosts, helps, tips and tricks, kind of things that have helped me, so that they can potentially help somebody else on my team. So I get the notes ready for that. I send out a text message to my team members, and sometimes it's a reminder, sometimes it's asking a question, sometimes it's something motivational, but I try to just send that out. A lot of people communicate in different ways. Some people aren't always on Facebook, and I do base a lot of my business on Facebook. So I try to make sure I include everybody. Some monthly tasks that I do for team and training day are I send welcome packets to new team members. Now, if I was to be 100% honest, I usually send these out closer if this time has just passed. If it's week 2 and somebody needs a mailer, I'll probably just send it out rather than making them wait 3 weeks. But I make sure that I have a couple of those ready and send out any ones that need to be sent. I message anybody who's on the check mark list and send them a postcard, just kind of saying that we really would like to keep them, and can we meet up and kind of solve some problems, or, so we can discuss kind of what's going on. Week 2, I send out any promotion or PRV postcards. If somebody has had high PRV or they promoted, they get a card or postcard from me. And I plan for our team meetup. Every month our team has team meetup, and we get together and just kind of discuss all things Scentsy and hang out and kind of regroup. So I made sure all our arrangements are made for that. We generally try to keep the time and day similar, but it doesn't always work out for everybody. So we kind of keep it a little bit flexible, and we figure out where we're meeting up. So make sure that's all set. On week 3, I make sure there's some things that, every week I go in and make sure I have Facebook posts ready, but there's some things that are monthly things. Like on Friday, we always kind of touch base with each other as a team and kind of what are we accomplishing that weekend? What are we doing that week? What's our game plan? And so that's something that I can plan ahead. So I make sure any monthly Facebook posts are already planned ahead. And also on week 3, I send out a way to go email to anybody who's active, anybody who's doing really well, close to a promotion, that sort of thing. And then week 4, I make sure that our team meetup is completely mailed down. We have a place that we're going. Any materials or anything that I need to bring or need to plan for, make sure all that's set, and make sure everybody's been reminded. I also try to call anybody who has a check mark next to their name, still at this point, and kind of one last interaction, make sure there's nothing that I can do to help them, make sure they have that order ready to go, all that kind of stuff. And then I just kind of like to send out a general reminder for everybody to make sure that their orders are in before the end of the month. And so depending on when week 4 lands, that might change a little bit. Wednesday is Hostess and Recruit Day. And so my things that I do for Hostess and Recruits every week, I schedule recruiting and prospect calls. So anybody who's shown interest in joining my team, anybody who I've recently talked to and then sent them a packet, a join brochure. If you're not sure about join brochures, go ahead and watch my other video about join packets. But if I've sent them a join packet, I schedule a call with them to follow up on that join packet. All of my bag parties, I check in with them, see how they're doing, when we're wrapping up, what they need from me, just kind of checking in, making sure they have been, I send out a list of kind of a to-do list for guests or people to ask for their bag party, make sure they're keeping up with that, just kind of your general hostess coaching. I blitz for current and next month's parties. So I always try to have my current month booked up, but if I don't, I make sure I get on that. And then from there, I blitz for the next month. So every week I'm having kind of a little mini booking blitz to make sure that both of my months are booked up to where I want them to be. I make sure any Facebook parties are set up. They have their event set up. They have a link on my PWS, and I use a program to post in my party for me. So I make sure that's all set up as well. I pack any home parties or events that I have for that weekend. Generally, and it doesn't always work out this way, but generally I will not have a home party and an event in one weekend. So I will make sure that whichever one I have is all packed up. And I'll plan any games or drawings or prizes for those parties. Just basically make sure that I'm all ready to go for whatever the weekend, whatever is going on that weekend. And then I do any hostess coaching, whether it's calls that need to be made, messages that need to be sent out, just basically check in with all my hostesses that need to have a check-in of make sure their guest lists are ready, make sure I have directions to their house, make sure that they're sending out invites to their Facebook party, make sure they're doing that the right way. So week 1, I make sure I have 10 join packets made, because if I have 10 join packets each month, then I try to make sure that I get those packets out. So it's kind of like a goal all in one. And plus it makes it a lot easier, again, because I just take that out, I write a note in it and put the address on it, and then it's ready to go. I check in with any prospects. So the difference between that and scheduling my prospect calls is checking in with prospects is just people who, I've already talked to them, kind of made an initial call. I've already mailed them a packet. I've already made a follow-up call to kind of talk about that packet, but they still haven't kind of made that jump to join my team. So I want to check in with them still here and there. So I try to do that about once a month. Week 2, I revise my potentials list. So I always have a list of people who are potentially going to join my team, which also includes my dream team, which is something else I also update in week 2. So my potentials list and my dream team gets updated. Week 3, I make sure that I have as many parties booked as I want to. I generally try to make sure that I have about 10 parties booked each month, and so I make sure that I'm on track to do that for the current month and the following month. I also open up any parties that I have booked for the following month. I open up their PWSs. It just kind of alleviates doing it all last minute if possible. And I also make sure that I have a generic party open for the following month, so that any orders that are just any outside orders can be caught into that category. Week 4, I set up Facebook events for the following month. Again, just trying to get ahead of it. I, still will probably have to add some in for people who book last minute, but I try to get the bulk of it done. And I mail out my hostess packets in week 4. All right, Thursday, last one. I know this is kind of long, but this is the only way I could kind of really get this to you. So Thursday is my business day. I make sure all my mail is ready. Any flyers I'm mailing out, any hostess packets I'm mailing out, any join packets that I'm mailing out are all addressed, they're sealed, they're ready to go to the post office. I log all of my receipts. I use a QuickBooks program to keep track of all my business expenses, so I made sure that is caught up. I post and edit any videos that I have made, or I should say I record, then edit, and then post any videos that need to be posted. When people have asked me questions and I think that they could be used more than once, I try to make a video of it, because then in the future I can send somebody a video rather than having to make time to have a phone call or that sort of thing. I make sure my deposit is ready, and I make any fundraising, event, or advertising contacts. So this is when I would mail out to different sports teams, different churches, different groups that I know of, mail them out some information about doing a fundraiser when they've expressed interest. Any events that I have, or any events that I'm looking into, I will kind of follow up with that, or try to find new events if I don't have very many booked. And advertising contacts, anything that I've seen where I might be able to advertise my business, I get in touch with them. So then week 1, I change my group banners and my Facebook pages if needed. I don't always change them a whole lot. I think it's good to keep things kind of consistent, but I do, there are times when it needs to be changed. Look for and prep events and fundraisers. Look for advertising opportunities. Then week number 2 is clean and organize my office. And some people say that that's really not income producing, but for me, I need my office to be clean in order for me to think clearly and work. So that's important to me, and it's on here. I script any videos that I would like to make for customer videos. I restock my purse and my mobile office, and I script next month for team videos and anything, training related and questions, stuff like that. I try to script those on week 3. Then week 4, I make a business budget for the following month, because at that point I kind of have a really good feel of where my paycheck is going to be, and so I can make my business budget for the following month. And I inventory supplies with my master inventory supply list. So this list is not all inclusive. I think that's important to state. I have a to-do list. I actually have a whole planner, and that's where my to-do list goes, and it usually fills up pretty quickly. And so I think it's important to know that these are not all of the tasks that I do for my business, but this is just what I do to make sure that I get everything, the main things that are keeping my business afloat are done every week. It's really been working for me. I have been using this for over a year now, and it's not only kept me very organized, but it's kept me very consistent. And as we all know in our business, consistency is key. You don't have to be good at anything, but as long as you are consistent and you're willing to ask people, you are going to have a good business. I hope this helps you out, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.